Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for September 25th, 2013. It's currently 8:50 a.m. and we are chilly out there as we've been for the past few days with a nice high pressure system in control. Temperatures over the northern tier are in the lower 40s. They were getting out of the upper 30s. Now we're in the lower to mid 40s. The rest of the region basically in the mid to upper 40s to the north and west of the major cities, and in the urban areas and along the coast basically in the upper 40s to lower 50s, a few mid 50s sprinkled in here as well in the Philadelphia metro and New York City metro. Overall, we're averaging below normal, about 5 to 10 degrees below normal. And for the high temperatures for today, it'll be comfortable. Low humidity, temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s right along the immediate coast, lower to mid 70s everywhere else. Very comfortable weather conditions are going to remain in place for today and for tomorrow. And we could thank high pressure for that. High pressure centered right over the Great Lakes will continue to funnel in very comfortable air into the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. So if you like this weather pattern, well, you're going to enjoy the rest of this week and at least much of this upcoming weekend. Now, when we take a look at the radar, we clearly see we have a disturbance brewing out here in the Tennessee River Valley. No worries though, this disturbance will not have any impacts immediately on the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. So there'll be no threat for any type of precipitation through the rest of this week and into at least much of this upcoming weekend. When we take a look at the infrared satellite picture, we clearly see a storm brewing here, but this storm will be suppressed to the south and remain over the coastal waters of the southeast and around the southern mid-Atlantic as high pressure remains in control. Now, there's all this talk about the potential for a major storm for next week. I think this storm is going to remain out in the Atlantic. Let's take a look at the water vapor, and this is a view of basically North America, okay? First of all, we have this strong upper level low here. This upper level low is what you call a negative NAO pattern. You can see a nice little ridge building up around Greenland, a nice upper level trough developing around, or has developed around the Canadian Maritimes and close to 50 north and 50 west. And this upper level low suppresses this disturbance. If it wasn't for this upper level low, this disturbance would be lifting north and east, and we'd be seeing rain moving into the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan areas for tomorrow. But that will not be the case because the convergence associated with this upper level low, which is when air comes together, enhances this high pressure system and suppresses this storm to the south. So we already have it locked in where this upper level low is forcing this disturbance to move here. And as a result, it's just going to kind of fester out here for the next couple of days. Now, I want to make something incredibly clear because I see a lot of this out there on Twitter and on Facebook. This is nothing like Sandy. There's no tropical low pressure system. There's no developing tropical low pressure system. This is a strong upper level disturbance that is interacting with a strong thermal gradient called the Gulf Stream, and that interaction leads to a rapidly developing this low pressure system right here, intensifying low pressure system off of the Carolina coast. That kind of festers out here for a couple days because it's blocked up by this disturbance. Meanwhile, this disturbance is going to move into the west. Now, the problem with the idea of having a strong coastal storm right along the immediate northern mid-Atlantic coast or Philadelphia, New York City metropolitan area is that you have another upper level trough that is going to be trucking right towards the west coast by the time we get to Sunday. And that forces a whole pattern to the east. What you want to see with a major winter storm is a nice big ridge right over the western United States. But as I show you in the model guidance, you don't have that happening, and as a result, everything is shifted east. Yes, we do get a strong storm out here in the northern Atlantic, and yes, it starts to get captured by this upper level disturbance here, but everything has to be forced east because of this disturbance tracking towards the west coast. So with all of that in play, let's take a look at the latest model guidance from the European model guidance. And this is why I said don't jump to conclusions yesterday when it was showing this big storm off of the east coast, because there were a lot of factors here that I wasn't really convinced yet that this was going to be a major player here. So here we are for this evening. Again, high pressure is in control over the northern Atlantic. You can see that convergence here that I was talking about, and this disturbance being forced south. So by tomorrow, there's that disturbance forced off of the southern mid-Atlantic coast. High pressure is in control. We're going to have very comfortable weather conditions with temperatures in the lower to mid 70s for highs, upper 40s to lower 50s for lows along the coast, mid 40s over the interior, possibly a few lower 40s as well. The general rule here, it's dry, it's beautiful, it's absolutely pleasant out because of this high pressure system and this storm being forced well to the south and east of the region. So if we move to Friday, that disturbance is just kind of festering out there, interacting with the thermal gradient in place called our Gulf Stream. That low pressure system starts to organize, and the disturbance basically cuts off from the main pattern here. Now notice, like I said, broad trough over the western United States, ridge over the east, but this disturbance keeps a northerly flow in place and keeps this high pressure system locked in over the St. Lawrence River Valley. And that basically means that we end up with very dry conditions. Okay, that's right there. That's dry air at the mid-levels. We also have some influence here from the Atlantic Ocean. So we have a little bit of increase in low-level moisture. So we might see a few more clouds there on Friday. But the overall rule will continue to be lower to mid 70s for highs, upper 40s to lower 50s for lows, dry, no impacts whatsoever. But look for a little bit more of an increase in winds from the northeast, especially as you move over the coastal waters. Now here we move towards Saturday. Our upper level disturbance is intensifying, it's cutting off. We have this low pressure system festering over the Atlantic Ocean. High pressures in control on Saturday, dry conditions, comfortable conditions. Here comes that disturbance trying to pick up this upper level low as this whole pattern is in a state of change. That's basically what's happening here. We're starting to develop a pattern change and starting to see how the whole pattern is becoming more and more amplified as we move towards the fall and winter season. So that's basically what's happening here. But again, this is an extratropical storm, a regular storm out there in the Atlantic. And because of the way of this trough building in over the west, it basically shuttles everything that's trying to develop out here further out into the Atlantic. So it never has a chance to pull to the northwest towards the New Jersey coast. It has to move due north or move northeast. And that's basically what happens here in the European Malgines. And that's what we see here. Look for possibly a few scattered showers on Sunday night and Monday. I think that's about it. The major influence, I think, is going to be the strong winds that are going to develop over the Atlantic and possibly produce some minor to moderate coastal flooding along the New Jersey coast. But I do not expect this to be a major player yet. Okay, and what I mean by yet, if this shifts well to the west, let's say it sets up out here rather than here, then it's a different story. Then it's a different setup. But right now, I don't see any indication of that happening whatsoever. And then as we move on towards Tuesday, high pressure is in control. Tranquil weather conditions can be expected. A few isolated showers are possible with a few of these little rogue disturbances. But guess what? Temperatures remain in the upper 60s to lower 70s along the immediate coast and lower to mid 70s everywhere else. Interesting times are ahead, but this storm I don't think is going to be a major impact on the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. That is the forecast discussion for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there.